Good afternoon and welcome to the July 17th, 2022 Board of Public Works and Safety. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Jim Barrett.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone have a seat. I'd like to welcome everyone to the regular meeting. If you would, please turn your cell phone ringers off. And we'll begin with roll call.
Brian Dobb.
Present.
Becky Gibson.
Here.
Diana Phillips.
Present.
Jim Barrett.
Everyone has the minutes of the July 3rd, 2023 regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those?
I move to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on down to new business. We got Adam on board. He's going to give us a 6-month spending update.
Very good. Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to attempt to share my screen. I'm not able to share, John. Is that fixable there, or should I just talk through it? Does everyone have a printed out version?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I can just talk through it then if that's easier for you all.
That's fine. Then we'll make sure you're able to share tonight.
Yeah, no worries. So you should have a couple different acts. I'm starting on page 1. That's mid-year through June 30. This is looking at city-wide or city budget, city approved budget. This does not include utilities. It's just the city funds through the first 6 months. And we have the original budget for both revenues and expenses compared at the fund level to the year-to-date actuals through June. So the original budget net result, for example, for the general fund was actually slightly negative. There were some one-time election costs and those types of things that were factored into that. Year-to-date, however, the general fund's revenues actually performed quite well. It's achieved 56% of its annual budget, and it's right on track with expenses at about 50%. So year-to-date, there's actually a net cash flow positive result of $562,558 from the main operating fund of the city of Connersville. Variety of other funds are more special purpose and have special revenues, but you can see down through year-to-date, adjusted for and including the pension obligations, the cash flows therein, the year-to-date net result is actually just shy of $860,000 cash flow positive, which is fantastic and performing better than even we budgeted and estimated last fall. We're continuing to drill into all of these and make individual line-by-line forecasts. We'll be doing that this summer as we work through the budget process for 2024, and that process officially kicked off really in earnest last week with the departments. Thank you to all of them who participated. The second page of your packet looks at cash flows and cash balances. These are all projected, and they do assume essentially budget attainment. So in this case, they essentially assume budget as the maximum spend. In this case, we look at the June 30 cash positions across all funds. Citywide, we're at just over $5.7 million in total monies. We have projected cash flow and then the ending balance. So overall, the end of year 2023 cash projection right now, assuming every fund spends its maximum budget, is still projected to be a 27% operating reserve, which is well above the minimum reserve of about 2 to 3 months. Some funds are significantly above that, some are hovering right at it, specifically general and parks, and we'll continue to keep those a close eye throughout the budget process as we go into 2024. The rest of the packet is all the detail. We've included a tentative calendar, development budget calendar for 2024. You can see where we're at. We'll continue to provide progress updates throughout. far as major dates that would be of importance to the community would be the main budget introduction on scheduled for September 5th, and we're trending well towards that as of this morning, with tentative budget adoption on October 2nd. And then the remaining portion is by fund and by line item, just specific results by account category. For any of you that are interested in more line item level details, those are every detail as far as the line items for the first 6 months for all the city funds that are budgeted through council. So both from a revenue and expense standpoint. So let me pause there and see if there's any questions or comments.
No? You got a question?
Very good. Well, we will continue to work through it. As the calendar is what we're working at is the current, and it's page 3 of your printout. That is our current work in progress. It shows you kind of what we're working on and tracking towards each week and each day, really, through the fall. If there's any questions, priorities, or needs you have, let us know. Otherwise, we'll try to provide another budget status update for 2024 later this summer. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item B, we have approval of agreements for inspection of the 2023 two community crossings projects. This is the agreement for the engineering firm to manage the projects, do the inspection work. Correct, Brad? It's part-time, yes. Brother Fairman's one we've been doing in the past. We're very happy with them. They do a great job. So I just need permission to approve the agreement for the 2 inspections.
So moved.
Second.
A motion second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Second is approval of change order for the 2022 Community Crossings Project. This was the final payment that has never been paid because we were, they missed some timelines and deadlines, and we had to go back and collect some money back from them. But this is the final payment for the completion of that project. So that's all that is.
Motion to approve the
Second.
request.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Very much. Going down to item 4, Department Matters, Director Colter.
This next item is about the, I'm gonna call it the mulch strip. That's what I've been calling it. I don't know what you guys call it. A lot of people call it a lot of different things around town. But, you know, it's been a project in the works for a while to get something done to mitigate that with the problems of it. I know Andrea and the mayor have been working on getting the concrete part of the project, which is coming up. And this will be, we've been planning on all along that the utilities would help pay for the plantings that will help hold that dirt and mulch in place, you know, that
Stormwater retention area.
that, yeah, and that area there collects a lot of runoff from the buildings and all that, and, you know, over time, eventually it would just wash all that stuff away if we don't have something there that sort of binds it all together. So these quotes were, Andrea had put those together that show some amounts that things cost, and what I'm asking you to do is just approve the idea that we will spend about $30,000 on all those plants out of stormwater funds, and the numbers of plants and the type of plants may move around a little bit within that project, but the idea will be that we'll spend no more than that.
So in other words, you want us to cap it at $30,000?
Yeah.
Give you an idea of how many plants it's actually going to take. It's a lot.
Hundreds and hundreds.
Yeah.
Yep. So it'll be a joint project. The utilities is gonna help a little bit to suck the mulch out and put it in a place where we can reuse it and put it back when the dirt and the plants are in. The street department guys will work on putting the dirt in, and doing the planning for the most part. So,
Big
sort of a
undertaking.
cooperative effort.
What invoice are they wanting? Because one of them's $1,000 off for some reason.
Yeah, some of them,
It's the same invoice, but they deducted $1,000 off the second page.
the quotes were more of a guideline just to show you what we would be getting for that amount of money.
Okay,
She
I
may
think that
change
28
it.
might be a typo.
that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, because it says 29, it says the same, it's the same on the first line, this last line
Well,
is
it's the same
different. I
invoice.
think it's probably a
It's the same
typo.
invoice number too, so I
Yeah, I think it's probably a
wasn't sure
typo.
if we're gonna approve an invoice,
Right.
make sure we know which one it.
Well, he's asking for $30,000 to do the project,
Right.
and all we're doing is approving.
I just didn't want to come in here and say, okay, here's what we want, and, you know, that gives you an idea of how big of a project it is as
Right.
far as the plans and all that.
If I might add, I would think too, from looking through this price, it depends a lot on what kind of stuff you're gonna put in there, you know, as far as the cost. So I think $30,000.
Well, she's trying to stretch it, get them as reasonable as possible, but get good ones that will work for what, native plants that will work for what we're doing.
And this is just a guideline, I think. This isn't the last.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of sort of what the idea of the project was gonna be. And the good thing about it is it'll give, on the utility side with MS4, it'll give us a training opportunity to show people, you know, some of the stormwater mitigation that you can do in your own areas that'll help with your runoff. We've got so many areas of town where people have their downspouts on the sewers and it's causing flooding. We have a situation we've been working on just north of Fifth Street. And these type of projects, it give us a chance to sort of teach people what can be done that would get that water out of the sewer.
So I assume this is all kind of going back to that information you gave us on plants and trees and,
It's a piece of the puzzle.
yeah,
It's having the right species in the right place for,
Exactly.
because if you have what's considered an invasive, it uses too much water, you know, they might thrive here. But they use more groundwater. These use the right amount of water and they can do well in the climate here. A lot of it was for pruning practices as well, making sure we're pruning properly, so.
okay, well, that's good.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion to approve up to $30,000 on plants. Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on down to department reports. Bolus, Chief Bolus. Yeah, you can start. I'll let you go. I didn't know if Nick, I didn't see Nick, so,
Yeah, they're driving out.
okay. Sorry, Nick.
Okay, starting out with our monthly reports. It looks like our overtime is going down a little bit. However, I thought it'd still stay high. We had a lot of vacations and a lot of the personal days get used in the summertime. So that's why it's staying where it's at. On the gallons of fuel, we had 1,899. Any other questions on the monthly report as far as that goes? Okay. On our incident reports, any questions on our incidents or accidents? Believe it or not, it's gone down. The month of June, we had a total of 994 incidents in June. All right, so our training hours for the department, 106 hours as a whole as a department. In addition, K-9 had 30 hours of training and 6 demos. As far as our drug totals, we had 80 grams of heroin, fentanyl, 15 grams of marijuana, 132 grams of meth, 377 needles. That has gone up drastically in that month of June. And all other paraphernalia was, we collected 139 pieces. Out of those totals, 7 of them were K-9 related. Any questions on that? And just for an update, our newest officer, Will Smith, has been to his training, his perf finally came back, so he'll be on the road training from here on out, which is a plus. And for a note for the public to know, in the next 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday, we're having an active shooter training, which includes all of our emergency services, police department, sheriff's department, fire, EMS, and EMA. So people out there hear it on the scanner, that's what it's only training. Active shooter training at the high school, and the hours are 6 to 2 both days. So if you guys get calls or hear of anything, that's what it is. We're just doing a massive training, getting trained up on that. So any questions?
Now Nick can come in.
Thank you.
Thank
See you out there,
you.
Chief. Oh, I didn't think so, that's right. Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Director Colter, you can go next. Get all out of word today. Blame that one on me.
Hello.
Hello.
Utilities report for June. Revenue disbursements. There's a small mistake on the disbursements. This should be $51,000 in disbursements on stormwater. It's corrected on the detail report on the second page. So overtime, $7,225. 2,400 of that was for meter installation after hours. Attaches the service work orders, sewer plant and water plant monthly reports. Miscellaneous, we painted the 9th Street wells. There's 3 of them, and there's a before and after photo in the packet. They look a lot better now. Something that we've been wanting to do for the last few years, but was just trying to get a direction of the water plant itself before we spend a bunch of money getting those cleaned up. So we're happy how they ended up. We also installed 210 meters last month, and right now we have hired a company called Aqua Line. It's a leak detection, and they are finishing up their preliminary survey of the city. And their next step is to start pinpointing those leaks throughout the city. So hopefully we'll have a good report here in another week or so on our leak detection survey. Is there any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wanted to tell you about a few things. East Connersville is severely disrupted by the paving project. I guess anybody that, I work over there, so we're right in the middle of it. A lot of the alleys over there are being used like streets right now, especially the one behind the utility office. So we're gonna get over there and start patching potholes in those alleys because it's really wore them alleys out in a hurry. There's hundreds of cars, but if people would just be careful and go slow and be reasonable, then it'll work out pretty well. I did find out this morning that the state is replacing some of the sidewalks over there, and but not all of them, so I don't know what that's going to turn into. The ones that are in the worst condition, I think they're starting to replace, and I can't seem to find out if that means they're going to replace bad sections going down through there or what. So hopefully, if I get any answers on that, I'll sort of put it out there in the public. But they have just about finished with the curbs and the ramps in the city portion of the project over there. So hopefully when they get that done, then they'll get out of the way a little bit and traffic can flow through there for a time until they get to the milling. So I wanted to tell you about that. The street department's been, if you see that report, we've been mowing a lot of properties this summer. Seems like more than normal for the early part of the summer. We've got 4 really good summer helpers, young men that's been helping a lot with those, and would ask that people have patience with those boys that are out working around town and helping our regular employees to clean up those properties. And they're doing the best they can. They're young men and they're learning and things like that. We have had a few people that have talked about them blowing grass alleys and different things like that, and we keep them well supervised, and usually by the time we get one of those properties finished up, it looks great. But, you know, people gotta sort of work with us while we're in the process of cleaning them up. Sometimes they may look a little worse than they looked when they started for a little while, but when we get finished, they look nice. The last thing I was gonna tell you about the leak survey, but Mike already mentioned it. Following along with them guys so far, it sounds like they're not finding any big major leaks. They've pretty much completed the body of town, so that's either good or bad news, however you're looking at it. We don't seem to have any bad leaks, but that doesn't explain what our water loss is sometimes. So, but now they're starting to work on the perimeters of the city and working out on some of the long distances, and maybe we'll find something. One last thing I wanted to sort of warn you about. I think I might have mentioned this before, but we're going to be cleaning our water tank on Elephant Hill sometime over the next month or so. When we do that, we're going to be putting pop-off valves on the ends of the system that will let pressure off, because we have to boost the pressure in the whole system while we're cleaning that tank to make sure we got water out to everybody. So when we do that, we have to set pressure relief valves in different areas to let off pressure so we don't cause a bunch of leaks. And so when we get started on this, I'll have to be putting the word out there, but you'll see hydrants all over town that might just be running, and they're supposed to be that way. So probably when we put those locations on those pop-off valves, I'll let everybody know where they are in the paper and on Facebook, so that people will know when they see those that, hey, that's supposed to be like that. So, anybody have any questions?
Do you have any more updates on the trestle? Didn't see us.
Well, we spoke to our state representative.
Yep, we got a meeting. We're slated to do a meeting with all three groups.
Okay, I hadn't heard that yet. So.
Well, just did it over the weekend. So
Okay.
I haven't got with you yet.
Okay, so
It's gonna be in August.
we're planning on, the railroad is gonna work with us to go to the state and try to, get them to help us remedy the situation. There's a number of things that we could possibly do, but we need to sort of settle in on one, and I think we're further along in that process than we've ever been, because now we have the railroad as a partner with us to try to figure it out. So, cool. That answer your question?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Director Palsy.
Hello.
Hello.
For the month of June, we had 11 hours, 14 minutes of meetings, 7 hours, 50 minutes of original programming. And of course, we completed all of the end of school activities, which there was actually a lot of. So other than that, kind of a short report. Any questions? I try to keep it short.
That was short.
Thank you.
Thank you.
John, I need to do sometime this afternoon as well. Chief Harden.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We had a total of 291 calls for service during the month of June, which is statistically a little lower than our normal June. In this 26, 27 years, there's no rhyme or reason to any of it, so it is what it is. So, did have one EMT that was off on workman's comp. They returned July 1st, and had one EMT off on FMLA. They've since returned. Zero fuel usage. Did do a touch-a-truck for Creative Steps Learning Center. We actually had two others scheduled that ended up getting rained out. So it's that time of year, festivals and gatherings and touch-a-trucks and that sort of thing. The big thing that we got pulled off was we hosted the IPSC, which is the Integrated Public Safety Commission, a training for the 800 radio system that we're getting ready to implement. It was a really good training, kind of went over it wasn't about the radios, it was about the system and how to work the system and how to use it, and how to minimize the problems. It's a statewide system, so it's not just Fayette County or our region. It's basically we can talk to anybody in the state, and there's actually federal nationwide channels on there as well. What do we do to use those channels and how do we use those channels? So it was really good, had a lot of the departments represented, so. Do anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Director Steele.
Good afternoon.
Hello.
So a lot of my report has to do with last month. I wasn't here, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to report on that. And so the canoe launch, we did a lot of cleaning up in June, and we met with DNR, and they came and they poured more gravel down to the river to make that access a little bit better. We cleaned up along the edges, cleaned up the wheelchair accessible parking space to make sure the gravel and everything was out of the way. And then we did put posts up and blocked off so that you couldn't drive down there, because that ramp is not a drivable ramp. It's a ramp that's to be used by foot. And that was mentioned through DNR as well, and that's the kind of ramp that they put in. And so we did block that off. It used to be blocked off, I guess, years ago, and just through the years it's been damaged or whatever. And so we made sure to block that off again to keep traffic from going down there, because it's not supposed to be drove on. And then we did add some new signage down there. DNR was nice to give us some signage, and so we put some signage down there and got that a little bit more presentable down there. So that's what we've been working on at the canoe launch. And then the pool, I'll just mention that we have had a lot of difficulty with the lifeguards this summer and not having enough staff. I did post for the month of July a calendar of hours for the pool. We sat down with all of the lifeguards and came up with a calendar of hours. And so we posted that on Facebook. We've posted that at the pool itself, so that they are aware, everyone is aware of the hours that the pool will be open for the month of July. We closed on Saturday due to the rain that we had, and then unfortunately yesterday we had an electrical outage, and so we did have to close for the afternoon because we lost all power. Duke did come in and fix that, and by the evening it was up and running again. So we're open today, but those are some things that have taken place. I did put, I did a little advertisement or news article on the TV3 News Journal, and we talked about the pool as well, and just kind of what's been taking place this summer. And the majority of the concerns and issues is just we don't have enough lifeguards for this summer. So we've called a lot of different parks around and offered, you know, if they wanted extra hours to come and fill in for us, be subs and things like that. We just haven't had any takers, unfortunately. So, and you do have to be a certified lifeguard through Red Cross, and so that's, a lot of people think they could just come and work with us, but you do have to be a certified lifeguard. So those are just some updates for the pool. Earthwork began on 2nd Street Park, so I don't know if you've been over there in that direction. Our next step is to lay the concrete, so we're waiting on our next volunteer to, when his time is available, and he's going to be laying that soon, and so that will be happening. Summer Discovery is doing great. We had 132 as of last week that were registered for Summer Discovery, and they're full of activities and things like that, so you can always check us out on Facebook to see what's going on with them. We try to post every day or every couple days. Longwood Bridge is still, of course, under construction. I did speak with the construction company, and they're just waiting on the concrete to be poured to set the framing at the ends of the bridge. And so he's just been waiting on that, and that's what's been holding them up to go on to the next phase of the bridge. So he's hoping that in the next couple weeks that's going to be done. And then for sports, we do have soccer and flag football registrations that are going to open this week, and we'll start those those sign-ups with for the next month. Flag football is something new. I know I've talked about that at a couple meetings in the past, but that is something new that we're going to do this fall. And so those registrations will open up this week as well, so everybody can sign up for that. Just some things that have been taking place. We are collaborating with Healthy Fayette County and Purdue Extension Office to do a walking group. Logan, our sports director, has been meeting with them, and they're going to do an event this fall, and they are going to start a walking program that's going to be implemented throughout all of our different areas in the parks. So our trails, Roberts Park, we may do some things at Office Park and different activities with that walking group. And we are going to promote it this fall and then try and have a schedule of walking group times that are going to be set so that if anybody wants to join in, they can just show up and walk during that time frame. Just a little bit of a structured activity for people to get involved in. So that's going to be taking place this fall. We're still meeting for Christmas in the Park and getting that organized and ready to go. And then last Thursday we had Community Youth Day at the park, and that was a huge success. They had lots of fun, and there was lots of different vendors and activities going on for all of the kids. And then the other thing that we did this month is we had active shooter training. Chief Bolos came in and did active shooter training with our pool staff and then also with summer discovery staff. Does anyone have any questions? Oh, and the fair's coming up. I didn't mention that. The fair's coming up in a couple of weeks. So they'll be moving in and getting ready for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Jones.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, the monthly report for the Connersville Fire Department for June. We'll start off with the overtime. Total overtime was $5,929.11. The FLSA portion of that was $581.67. The remainder was all manpower shortage. If you look over to the right-hand column of that, you can see trending with the last couple of years. We're having a pretty good year. Everybody's healthy, so that's a good thing. So we're doing pretty good in overtime this year. Moving on down to fuel usage. Fuel usage was down 303 gallons for June for a total of $1,217.01. The guys for the last several weeks have been doing a lot of classroom training. We got a class that we're doing, so they haven't been getting out. They're doing a lot of hands-on, which lessens the fuel bill just a little bit. Total incidents for June, we had 152 incidents, 30 of those fire-related, 116 EMS-related, and 6 auto accidents. And then training hours, a total of 84 and a half instructed training hours, 69 of those fire-related, 15 and a half EMS-related. We did 20 inspections for the month and had 12 and a half hours of fire investigation. And that's all I have. If you have any questions.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Scott. Yeah, so we're going down to old business. Anyone have any old business? Miscellaneous business, I got a couple things here. You have in front of you a contract for the band we're going to use for the Tri-State Food Truck Challenge. I cannot say the name. I can't release any name until we get this contract signed. But it is for $6,000 for this band. We had to make a major change. We were trying to get a major act, and then when the vote got delayed at City Council to the third reading, we lost that bands, and I wasn't comfortable with any other band I could find that price range, so we completely redid the entire thing. This is still a good band, it's a good draw. We're not going to get the huge draw that we're going to get, but I think this is the food truck challenge itself. We've got a lot of people coming to that, so it'll be nice having music there. We're going to highlight our local artists as well. We've got our local band, Claypool Block, and we have another artist from Richmond coming in, so we've got local, regional, Nashville. How's that sound? So this is gonna be the headlining band for that. I just need a motion to approve the contract so I get signed so we can get this out the door.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Motion carried. One item to remember, tickets are on sale now for the farm to table event. You can pick them up right in the mayor's office. Diana's keeping track of them all this year. It's gonna be August 28th is the day of the event. We've opened up more seats. We don't have an exact number on that. We have more seats. Last year we kept it small just so we could really make sure we did it right, and then we've had a lot of people wanting to do it again, so the ticket price is the same. We do have 3 different menu options. We need to get those sold so we know exactly how much food to buy. And a good thing about doing it this time is we're having a lot more participation with our local produce coming in, so it's going to be a very good event. We're going to do it right in Central Avenue again, just like we did last time, right in front of the Arts Association, so it's a wonderful evening. I encourage you to come out. A very unique experience. We had a lot of compliments on it last time. So August 28th, farm to table event right downtown. Any other miscellaneous business? Claims.
Okay, we have city claims at $308,726.35. Do you do all these at once?
Yes.
And payroll at $536,335.11. And utility claims at $119,405.57.
Motion to approve claims.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move on to the public forum. Anyone out there, Justin? You don't see anybody. Okay, not take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Have a motion and a
Second.
second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Have a good afternoon.
Third.
He's moving it and stuff.
Third.